So, we want to do Vashamru and Yisbachu, or we're just going to do Yisbachu?
If you really want both, we can do both. I was thinking we would just do Yisbachu.
Good. Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
We're live.
Okay.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Sound test, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I think we're okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. We're okay.
a medley of Arise My Love, Anima Amin, and Dodili. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. For lo, the winter's past, and the rain is gone. The flowers appear on earth, the time of singing is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard. The fig tree bringeth forth her green figs, and the vines in blossom bring forth their fragrance. Arise, arise, my love, my fair love, come away. Arise, my Anima Amin, Emunah Shlema, B'biat HaMashiach, Anima Amin, Anima Amin, Emunah Shlema, ואף על פי שיתמהמה, עם כל זה אני מאמין, עם כל זה. דודי לי, ואני לא הרואה, פשוט שנים. מזאת עולמי המדבר, מגולגלת אור ולעונה, אני לדודי ודודי לי, דודי לי. דודי לי, ואני לא הרואה, פשוט שנים. Urizaponu going Reman, Urizaponu going Reman, אני לדודי ודודי דודי לי, ואני לא הרואה, פשוט שנים. אני לדודי ודודי לי, אני לדודי ודודי לי, אני לדודי ודודי דודי לי, דודי לי, דודי לי. From the book of Joel, and the old shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see visions. And the old shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see visions, and our hope shall rise up to the sky. We must live for today, we must build for tomorrow. Give us
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to everybody joining us here at Temple, and also everybody joining us via our live stream on YouTube. A wonderful opportunity to come together, whether we are in person or via live stream, and begin and celebrate Shabbat together. And so we'll start as we light our Shabbat candles and invite Pam forward to say the blessings.
Light them first. Okay. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We turn together to page 10 and join in Maya Hayom, how beautiful this day truly is. And whether it's beautiful because the sun is shining and it was raining earlier and now we have a beautiful evening, or beautiful because we come together and be able to celebrate Shabbat.
Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, sorry, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat is this remarkable time in our lives, a time where we set aside the stresses and the complications of the week and look inward to our hearts and our minds, and let the stresses go. And for a moment, an island in time, embrace that sense of rest and that sense of wonder as we marvel at the incredible nature of creation. So we join in L'cha Dodi as we welcome Shabbat into our hearts with a new tune that we haven't used in a while, I think. Have we ever done this one?
I haven't.
Okay, so a new tune.
I promise I practiced it though.
L'cha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 p'nei Shabbat. Lekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 p'nei Shabbat. Lekabela, Shamor v'zachor b'rim borechad, Ishmi'anu Adonai echad u'shmo echad, b'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi ligrad kala yalalai 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela ligrad Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshavat chila lecha dodi ligrad kala yalalai 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi ligrad kala yalalai 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha ובצהולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת קלה יללי 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 פני שבת נקבלה.
You may recall that tune, or you may recognize the tune. I think probably you did it at some point along the history of the congregation, I would assume. It comes actually from a congregation in Jerusalem, Kol HaNeshama, and it is the tune that they typically use. There is folklore that it comes from North American native people chant. Otherwise, there's folklore that it comes from Eastern European chant. We really don't know. But in any case, it's a great way to welcome Shabbat. And we have a couple new tunes this evening, that being the first one, and one we'll get to a little later on. One of the things that Jesse and I are kind of working on over the next several months is to add some new repertoire to our music and change things up a little bit. We won't change things too much, right? Well, maybe. A little bit?
A little bit.
Okay, good. So we'll join together in our song, our psalm for Shabbat, on page 22.
יזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. יזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, אמונתך בלילות, עלי אסור ועלי נפל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
And as we continue, we turn to page 24 and join in Shalom Aleichem, those words of welcome. May peace be on all of us.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamlachim hakadosh, Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh, Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh, Baruch Hu.
And on page 26, we rise together for Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadash Shmei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'chayei docho bet Yisrael. Bagala, uvizman kariv, v'imeru, amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam olal me'almaya, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar v'yiturmam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei Kedusha barichu, le'la min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'imeru, amen. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated, and on page 30, we join together in Ma'ariv Aravim, thanking God for the miracle of creation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem b'rakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. Page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. The more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this, holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha avta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata, Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה נגי יומם ולילה ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
We turn together to page 34, and we rise for Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please be seated as we continue on page 36 with Ve'ahavta, which gives us the directions and the outlines of how we are to interact with God, and begins with that rather strange direction, that command that says, love God. And then, as if we, of course, inevitably ask the question, how can you be commanded to love? We're told exactly what that means, that we experience God with our whole selves, with our physical bodies, with our hearts, with our minds, with our souls.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 39. Let's join together at the bottom of the page. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, ose fele, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh.
Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles and earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. We join together at the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Page 44. The other new musical piece we want to introduce is Yismechu at the bottom of the page. And the translation of it says, those who keep Shabbat, and then goes on to qualify. By calling it a delight, will rejoice in your realm. Meaning Shabbat is to be enjoyed. Shabbat is to be celebrated with smiles and friendship and joy. And the people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness, in God's goodness. For being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation, so that each and every week we pause for a moment and call to mind those amazing stories of creation, those times in which we marvel at the sequence of events that brought us to this incredible world that we till and tend together.
Yismechu v'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshem Mekadeshe Shvi Shabbat Kulam Yisbu V'yitangu Mituvecha Shabbat ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת, ובשביעי רצית בו וקידשו שבת, חמדת ימים, אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, קוראי עונג שבת.
Page 47. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We rise together. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב והושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש קדושים בכל יום יעלוך סלע ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated as we continue on page 53. Days pass and the years vanish and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay-touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu Be'amecha Yisrael U'tefilatam Be'ava Tikabel U'tehi L'ratzon Tamid Avodat Yisrael Yisrael Amecha El Karov Lechol Korav Penei El Avadecha V'chaneinu Shefach Ruach Aleinu V'techezin Einenu Meshuvecha Letzion Berachamim Baruch atah Adonai HaMachazir Shechinato Litzion.
Page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace. Let's read together. And give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace and its advocate among the nations. Make contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon Lecha Shalom. Ki atahu melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם.
We take a few moments and set the prayer book aside and close our eyes and look inward to the thoughts, the prayers that are in our own minds and our own hearts.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי.
We take a few moments and call to mind those members of our community, our friends, our family who are in need of healing. And we especially call to mind those who continue to struggle with COVID-19, their family members, their support systems, the medical professionals who tirelessly work to heal and take care of us. And we think of all those who need a blessing of healing of one kind or another, whether it's a healing of body, of heart, of soul, of mind. And we especially mention Greg Bennett, Michael Byron, Scott Gordon, Rebecca Gottlieb, Julian Howell, Thomas Costines, Phyllis Levin, Jacob Adams, Pat Hanna, Irene Shurvetskaya, Zachary Jackson, Dane Marcinowski, Burko Shervetsky, Debbie Perry, Bruce Harrell, Sasha Leopold, Andrea Kempner-Blake, Marcia Pinsky-Koblitz, Joe and Penny Maloney, the Rodner family, Matea Press, Jack Hall, Joe Riley, Joseph Pesetner, Edie Francis, Fran Porras, Frank Fusaro, Jim McCann, Sheila Cohn, and Jerry Penn. If you are joining us via live stream and you wish to add a name, please add the name into our chat box. If you are here in person as I look around, please share any name that you wish. And so we turn together to page 253 and join in Misha Berach, our prayer for healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
How many news stories are there really? Not very many. In this week's Torah portion, we see Abraham being called on to embark on a new journey. And conveniently, or coincidentally, we saw new journeys happening yesterday when Captain Kirk went into space. And if you remember, well, first of all, William Shatner has a connection to us, of course, being born in Montreal and a Jewish family. So he's a Canadian. Go Canadians. You know, Canadians take over the world eventually. You know, we all. Actually, he was born, and his parents were. His father was one of the most traditional of Jewish vocations. He was a Schneider, a tailor. And he probably had a history of going with a peddler cart and on new journeys all over the city. And of course, he grows up to become one of the most iconic iconic movie and TV roles ever, right? Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. And the beginning of the show, of course, has those absolutely poetic words, space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. It's a 5-year mission to explore new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, and to boldly go where no man has gone before. Now, just because if you think that that's an invention, think again. Because at the beginning of this week's Torah portion, Vayomer Adonai el Avram, and God spoke to Avram and said, Lech lecha, get going. Me'artzecha, from your land. Mimuladetecha, from the birthplace, from your birthplace. Umi beit avicha, from the house of your father. In other words, leave everything you know. And go where? El eretz asher ar'eka, to the land that I will show you. Sounds pretty familiar, right? Sounds exactly the same. God saying to Avram, go explore. Find new people, find new civilizations. You can't become fulfilling your destiny if you stay at home. Now, the Midrash fills in the story a little bit, right? What's the Midrash of Abraham? Well, Abraham is a young adult, and his father is the local idol maker. And his father says to young Avram, okay, I have to go to the next town over. I'll be gone overnight. Please take care of the idol shop, and I'll see you tomorrow. And off he goes. And Avram, who is struggling, of course, with this concept of an idol, really doesn't want to believe it. He doesn't really believe it, but he's afraid of it. So he looks at a little idol, and he takes a stick and he smashes the idol. He kind of waits. You know what happened? Nothing. Right, absolutely nothing. So he kind of goes and he says, well, all right. Takes a stick and he gets to the next size idol up and smashes that. And then do you know what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And this goes on until every single idol in the shop has been destroyed, except for one, the biggest one. Now, if you have one child, this will resonate with you. If you have multiple children, the story doesn't work as well. But as an only child, Avram says, what do I do now? Dad's coming home. So he puts the stick in the hand of the big idol, and he makes tea. Dad comes home, takes a look at what's going on, and says, Avram, what happened? He says, I don't know. The big idol beat up all the little idols. And his father says, look, I make these idols. We know that they don't do anything. How can they possibly have done that? And the Midrash then explains that Avram at that point, his name hasn't changed yet, Avram says, look, I can't be here anymore. I can't be part of this. I need to go to a new place. I need to explore new places. And so he goes and he fulfills that destiny, and eventually we become the people of Israel. And it happens 5,000 years ago in biblical times. It happens in the future in our fantasy land worlds. And it happens for us. Because it's when we have the strength and the courage to leave what's known, right? And Avram has to leave. Me'artzacha. He's got to leave his land. He's got to leave his birthplace. He's got to leave the house of his father. All things that tie him to safety and security. Think about the first time you left home. Whether it was to go to a job or maybe to college or whatever. I always used to love meeting the freshmen on campus because there was this unbelievably terrified look. Even you. Actually, I don't remember meeting you you weren't a freshman. You weren't a freshman. You were already there for a while. But there was this unbelievable scared look of having to be in a strange place for the first time and not have the support system you're used to having. And yet it is only when we actually get out of our comfort zones, get out of the things that we're used to doing, that we can really evolve and change and grow. And I think that's one of the really important messages that this week's Torah portion for sure, and I think Judaism has in general. That in order for us to experience and grow, we have to get out of what's comfortable, right? That's partially the message of Sukkot that we just celebrated, right? We can't appreciate what we have unless we're out of the comforts. And we can't grow and experience who we are or who we're to become unless we kind of push ourselves beyond what's comfortable. Shabbat Shalom. So we'll turn together to page 282 as we rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום בהשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, וארץ מתחתינו עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and in death. And we have the period of Shloshim for Jesse Rubenfeld, and we observed the following yahrzeits on this Shabbat: Henry Zachs, Maxine Pullman, Jack Blumberg, Isaac Sherman, Julius Aaron, Rosa Samler, Kate Jacobs, Jonas Adler, Frieda Rechter Rosenberg, Balbina Oppenheimer, Milton L. Tenenbaum, Rachel Zachs Gage, Manita Cooperman, Milton Nadwarney, Miriam Goodman, Alec Fisher, Joseph Schwab, Irvin Goldman, Samuel Sobel, Rachel Davies, Robert Cohn, Betty Jean Kay, and Stanislaw Wizik. If you are joining us via live stream and you have a name that you wish to add, please add it into our chat box. If you're here in person and would like to add a name, please do so as I look around. We turn together to page 294 and we rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chai echon u'vyom echon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach la'alam u'larmei armaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit halev, v'yit halal, shemei dikudsha barichu. Le'ela minkol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Amen. May the one who grants peace in the high and distant heights grant peace for us, for all Israel, for all the world. And together we say,
Amen.
Amen. I'd like to invite Janice Whitmer's house forward to share some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shalom. Services this weekend are in memory of Alec Fisher and Minetta Cooperman. Services will continue tomorrow at 10 a.m. with the Shabbat morning service, followed at 11 a.m. with Torah study. There are links YouTube link for the Shabbat morning service, and a Zoom link for the Torah study. But
you can come in person.
you can come in person, so for both?
Yes.
For both. You can come in person for both. So you can have two ways to enjoy both Shabbat service and Torah study. No excuses. Gesher and Hebrew classes will be this Sunday at 9:30 a.m. as usual. On Monday is Schmoozing with the President, whoever that is. Me, that's right. So Schmoozing with me. You can do that on Monday, and on Wednesday is the Insights to Judaism class. Now, you can still register for that at any time. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Right. What do we? Oh, let's do Kiddush and Mitzvah. Let's join together in Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tefillah lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
Chaim.
Chaim. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
And we'll conclude this evening with Oseh Shalom.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru imeru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.
You too.